Hey everyone, Coolganda is here. It's been more than a solid week as our newly introduced favorite scholar has been available in the 3.4 character banner. In this video I will introduce you to the Swole Scholar and help change your mind if you still want to get him or save for the future banners and get a new or a rerun character. I will cover his talent kit, artifact sets with recommended stats, his best 5-star and 4-star weapon choices and popular team compositions, plus some advice on how to use him effectively to increase your potential damage output. Alhaitham is a 5-star Dendro DPS character that uses a one-handed sword. His normal attacks perform up to 5 rapid slashes, charge attacks consume a certain amount of stamina to perform 2 slashes, and a regular plunge attack that performs a small AoE upon impact. Alhaitham's E has 2 different versions. The press version, Alhaitham rushes forward, dealing Dendro damage to nearby opponents when the rush ends, causing a chisel light mirror to form. Upon pressing E and holding, Alhaitham enters aiming mode to adjust the direction of the rush attack. This can be used in the same way as Keqing's E when being held, although her E cooldown is much lower, so it's a bit better for exploration. Chisel Light Mirrors. When this skill is unleashed, Alhaitham will generate 1 Chisel Light Mirror. If there are no mirrors at the time, he will generate 1 additional mirror. Chisel Light Mirrors will have the following properties. When he possesses Chisel Light Mirrors, Alhaitham's normal charged and plunging attacks will be converted to Dendro damage. This cannot be overridden, so for example you can use C6 Bennett. When the attacks of the aforementioned kinds hit opponents, the Chisel Light Mirrors will unleash a projection attack that deals AoE Dendro damage based on the number of the mirrors on the field. A total of 3 Chisel Light Mirrors can exist at once. The Chisel Light Mirrors will disappear one after another over time, and all will disappear when Alhaitham leaves the field. Mirrors naturally disappear by 1 every 4 seconds. For the Alhaitham's ultimate, he creates a particular binding field and deals multiple instances of AoE Dendro damage. If Chisel Light Mirrors exist when this ability is unleashed, all such mirrors will be consumed and increase the number of damaged instances dealt. 2 seconds after his ability is unleashed, depending on how many mirrors he has, he will generate a certain amount. So for example, if he had 0 mirrors before unleashing his ult, he will receive 3. If he had 1, he will receive 2, and so on. Now for his passives. For causal correction. When Alhaitham's charged or plunging attacks hit opponents, they will generate 1 Chisel Light Mirror. This effect can be triggered once every 12 seconds. Second passive, Mysteries Laid Bare. Each point of Alhaitham's elemental mastery will increase the damage dealt by projection attacks on particular field feathers of phenomena by 0.09%. The maximum damage increase this way for both the abilities is 90%. And for his third passive, when Alhaitham crafts weapon ascension materials, he has a 10% chance to receive double the product. I am not going to go over constellations in detail as the guide stands to be for people that are more free to play friendly. Please pause the video if you would like to read through them. Because Alhaitham is a character that scales with attack percentage and elemental mastery that gives a boost to his overall power, with no doubt the best artifact set for him is Gilded Dreams. If by any chance you don't have an access to a proper Gilded Dreams set, you can simply go for a double piece set combination of artifacts that increase elemental mastery. It could be 2-piece Gilded Dreams, 2-piece Wondrous Troop, and 2-piece of Flower of Paradise Lost. If you are planning to play Alhaitham as a solo Dendro character in your team, I would highly recommend switching out the Gilded Dreams set for Deepwood Memories, as Dendro damage bonus and Dendro element resist shred will profit more without using a second Dendro character. For the main stats that you should focus on when building your artifacts would be mainly Elemental Mastery, Energy Recharge, crit rate, crit damage, and attack percentage. Main focus should be on elemental mastery and crit stats, while energy recharge is not as much needed when you have 2 Dendro characters in your team, but the requirements become much bigger with a solo Dendro character in the team, as you really want Alhaitham to be able to use his ultimate as much as possible, so the generation of his Chisel Light Mirrors could be more fluid and continuous. In most of the situations, you will want your Sans main stat to be elemental mastery, Goblet, Dendro damage bonus, and Circlet to be crit rate or crit damage depending on the situation you are in, with other stats in your previously equipped artifacts and weapons. For the best 5 stars, we have Light of Foliar Incision. That is, of course, best in slot for him. Amazing amount of crit damage as a substat, increases crit rate as well, increases normal attack and elemental skill damage scaling from user's elemental mastery. Other 5-star weapons that you can choose would be Primordial Jade Cutter, Heiran Geppaku Futsu, Mist Splitter Reforged, or Freedom Thorn. One thing I want to note that any of the mentioned 5-star weapons is a good choice, and if you have any of the listed except for his signature weapon, unless you are dedicated to get it, I would say that better spend your primos for something else, as the increase in damage is not going to be as noticeable as when you are comparing any 4-star weapon with his best in slot weapon. The list for the best fitting 4-star weapons for Alhaitham are Tokabu Shigure, that was available in Test of Courage limited time event, Iron Sting, that can be crafted, Sypho's Moonlight, can be obtained from gacha, the Black Sword from Battle Pass, Harbinger of Dawn, that is actually a pretty good option as well when fully refined and leveled, although because of the requirement for the effect to be active, would be recommended to use a shield character. Personally, I have been using Iron Sting R5, but when it comes to comparing 4-star weapons, other sources that have tested it out fully say that Tokabu Shigure is a better choice. Alhaitham is a DPS character that requires more time to be on the field. His main source of damage is his chisel light mirrors causing the projection attacks, depending on the amount of the mirrors that do disappear when switching to the other characters. It is recommended to focus on choosing characters around him that can provide stat buffs like EM, apply different elements that work best with Dendro, and a healer that can keep the team alive. And if that healer also can provide an additional off-field elemental application, that makes it even better. So, for the support characters, Nahida would be one of the best options, as having a secondary Dendro element user enables Dendro element resonance, further increasing the EM buffs for the team, as well as enables Alhaitham to be more consistent with gathering energy for his ult, as you want to use it as often as possible. Plus, Nahida's first passive talent further increases EM when activating her ult. A more free-to-play friendly option for a support character would be Kali. She does not provide EM buffs, but she's pretty good choice for a character to use the Deepwood Memories artifact set. There are a few more options for a support character. For example, Albedo, that can provide additional damage and increase elemental mastery with his elemental burst. There is also Kazuha. He cannot swirl Dendro, but he can absorb other elements that can react with Dendro, providing elemental reaction coverage. As for his EM buff, it is a bit less realistic if you are a low spender, or for example free to play, as it requires to have Constellation 2. Now for sub DPS, choose a character depending on what elemental reaction you want to go with in Alhaitham team. Xingqiu is a no-brainer choice, as this 4-star Hydro support DPS character is probably most valued in the game. In the team, he will provide a consistent production of Dendro cores while also providing a good off-field damage. You can switch out Xingqiu for Yelan for a very similar role. Other good options are Yae Miko or Fischl with their off-field damage capabilities. For a healer, you can choose any of the listed, depending on the elemental reaction you require to focus on. These would be Kuki Shinobu, Bennett, Kokomi, or Dori. Now, if you have Alhaitham, but looking into much more free-to-play friendly composition, you can pair our Soul Scholar with such characters as Fischl or Lisa, Kali, and Barbara. Without going too deep into the most complicated explanation, I wanted to mention key points on how to use him to increase your damage potential. First, Alhaitham, having his 3 chisel light mirrors allows him to deal most damage when activating his highest level projection attack, and also extends his ult to the longest duration. Second, you want Alhaitham to have as many mirrors generated as possible when he is on field. Set up his support character skills first and then switch back to Alhaitham. Third, do not go crazy and start activating everything he has. To properly manage his mirror count, it is recommended to space out his use of talents, as you would lose your potential of generating mirrors over time. Most popular recommendation that I have found to be mentioned in almost all of the tutorials is after taking Alhaitham out in the field, first activate his ult, continue with his normal attack, When the number of chisel light mirrors decreases by 1, use his charge attack to generate an additional mirror. After that, auto attack to activate projection, immediately activate E, auto attack until projection hits, and then continue to switching to the support characters and repeat this rotation all over again. And for the last point, when activating his ultimate, while the animation is still going on, you can quickly switch to another character in your team to activate a skill, for example Cookie's E, quickly switch back to Alhaitham, and that should be enough time for him to come back when his ult animation ends, and then he will receive his 3 chisel light mirrors. Please be aware that you need to react quickly, as if you will not come back soon enough to switching to Alhaitham, the mirrors might not be generated. If you think that your ping is good enough, try it for yourself and experiment if you can actually perform such an action. That is pretty much it for the crash course on how to use Alhaitham. Let me know in the comments down below if you have pull for him or still thinking about it. And what is your opinion on this Dendro DPS unit, if he is worth to have or not? Please consider leaving a like on the video or even subscribe if you would like to see more of my content. And that would be it for now. I will see you in the next video. Bye.